Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. First and foremost, I tender my apology for coming this late. It is never my attitude to come this late to occasions like this, but it was due to circumstances beyond my own, capacity to handle. Because man proposes, God, وَلَا يَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Well, I plan to be here around 11 o'clock, but somewhere along the road from my way from Ogun State to Lagos State this morning, I was stuck in the traffic for almost 1 hour, just within a point. Alhamdulillah, I was able to come at the end of the day. So, accept my apology. Is the apology accepted? Okay, if it is accepted, can I hear you say Allahu Akbar? May Allah forgive each and every one of us as well. Now, this afternoon, I need to summarize the topic that I've been given to speak upon. That is what? Islam, identity, and politics. Islam, identity, and politics. For the purpose of this lecture, I've been able to look at Islam from those 3 angles. And I was able to discover that when we talk about Islam and identity and politics, we are actually talking about the 3 aspects of Islam that are intertwined. Islam is made up of about 3 aspects. The external aspect of Islam, the internal first, the internal aspect of Islam, the external aspect of Islam, and the social aspect of Islam. This, I mean, Islam, if you practice the internal aspect of Islam without the other 2, you may be nowhere to be found in the sight of Allah. If you pick the external aspect without the internal and the social aspect, you may not be reckoned with by Allah. And if care is not taken, if you pick the social aspect of Islam, leaving the internal aspects and the external aspect, then I'm sure you may not be referred to as a Muslim. This is what I mean. The external aspect of Islam has to do with the spirituality part of Islam, our connection with Allah. Don't forget, in a particular hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was reported that a man came to the Holy Prophet when he was sitting in the midst of Sahaba. This man came in and was asking the Holy Prophet some questions. The first question he asked the Holy Prophet was, "Oh, you Prophet of Allah, what is Islam?" The Holy Prophet told him that Islam is to worship Allah alone, because there is none worthy of worship except Allah. The man went further by asking him, "What is faith?" Rasulullah replied by saying, "To believe in Allah, His angels, His meeting with Allah, the messengers of Allah, and the day of reckoning." All these are what come together to form the internal aspect of Islam. We all know that, we all are familiar with that. That is where we get our 5 pillars upon which the religion of Islam is what? Is being pivoted. That is, our unflinching faith in Allah, our observance of, our establishment of Salat, which brings us close to Allah at least 5 times in a day. we are given the opportunity of coming to Allah 5 times in a day. I was at a mixed lecture some time ago, this interreligious lecture. I was now, because mixed, audience, the Christians, the Muslims, and what have you. I was now telling them that we Muslims, we have the opportunity of communicating Allah, our creator, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the provider of everything, at least 5 times in a day. Can it be compared with some other people who just have once a week to meet with their God? Or some once in a month, some once in a blue moon. Alhamdulillah that I'm a Muslim. That is the internal aspect of Islam, the spirituality. How close are you to Allah? Because of the time, I will not be able to dwell so much on that. But believe you me, the Holy Prophet said in a special hadith that if a man, a Muslim, is so close to Allah, it gets to an extent that Allah comes closer to him or her. It gets to an extent that Allah will turn to his tongue with which he speaks. Allah will turn to his hand with which he handles something. Allah will turn to his eyes with which he what? He sees things. That is talking to us in parable. It's telling us that if you come close to Allah, it will get to an extent that whatever you say with your tongue, Allah will stamp it. It comes to be. Whatever you undo with your hand, it will be as if Allah himself is handling that thing. Whatever you look with your eyes, it is as if Allah is the one looking at those things. That is, Allah will come very close to you. Remember that it says, Inna wa nahnu akrabu ilayk min abul warid. I am closer to you than your jugular vein. That is the spirituality aspect of Islam. The external aspect of Islam has to do with our appearance and attitude. What did I say? Appearance and what? Ọlọ́run ò ní ṣe wá ní Mùsùlùmí tí wọ́n máa refer sí as aborímábòwà. Ṣàmì. Because that is where some of us get it wrong. You don't just be a Muslim because you are going to the mosque to pray. The religion of Islam does not stop within the 4 walls of the mosque. It must be with you at any point in time. Your appearance, without mentioning your name to anybody. If anybody sees you, either you are a man or you are a woman, either you are a male or a female, there must be something in you that tells the other person that this is a Muslim. From your appearance, we can see our women. You can see how well dressed they are. This is the dressing that has been stipulated by Allah, that women should cover their chastity. They should cover themselves. They should appear responsible. In fact, there was a case of a young lady who converted to Islam because of this dressing. You know what happened? She was a Christian. She went to a salon, a student went to a salon to make her hair. The hairstyle to make. But she was thinking of that hairstyle not to be rumpled. She now picked a scarf. So after she left the salon, she decided to cover the hairstyle from being, So she said one surprise she first got is when she got to the bus stop. The conductor was now telling the driver, Ogani, do that, we must not handle this one anyhow. Alajanio, do that, Ogami, do that. The bus will stop properly because this is a responsible being that's about to do what? To come into the bus. You don't say takbir. She was not even a Muslim then. Can you see? So she said, all through her stay in the bus, the way the conductor was relating with her, the way people were saying, oh, Alaja, sorry, kind of regard that was given to her now made him to go back to school and connect with some of the Muslim sisters in the school. I want to know about this hijab that you put on. What is it about it? They now give him books to read. It is from those books that she was reading that made her to convert to Islam. Because of what? Just the appearance. He didn't even know the value of that appearance then. So the external aspect of our religion has to do with your appearance, both male and female. Now, plus that appearance, there must be what we call attitude. Attitude. This is a Muslim that has been taught how to make utterances. Muslim doesn't talk anyhow. We don't address people anyhow. We have been given. I was somewhere among other people, other faithful. We were discussing about Islam. No, we were somewhere. We wanted to go into a particular. So we now knocked. I was now telling them that Islamically, because I am a Muslim, after knocking on somebody's door, you don't have to stay adjacent. I mean, in a position whereby if the person from the inside will open the door, you will have the opportunity of seeing the inner part of the room. You have to stay somewhere so that the owner of the house will have to be the one to say, "Oh, is there a visitor?" You don't stay anyhow, because we are cultured. We have been trained by Islam that you don't poke nose into other people's privacy. The way we talk, what we eat, what we drink, the kind of clothes we put on, the kind of mannerism that Allah has taught us have made us to be the best of mankind ever raised by Allah. So that should be seen in us every time. You are not to dress well only because you are going to the mosque. Whether you are going to the office, whether you are going to the farm, whether anywhere, they must see and recognize you as a respectable somebody. Is the social aspect, which is very, very important. That is where the issue of politics comes in. How do we relate with people? How do we relate with our environment in general? Environment mean, people around you who are not of the same faith with you. Things around you, living objects, even the trees that you see. When we were in government and the governor then, Mofeshaye, was clamoring for people to be planting trees. I said, you are just reminding us of what Islam has taught us. Sure, you plant a tree, at least, for several reasons. If the tree grows big and gives shade to some creatures of Allah, you are going to be rewarded from those creatures of Allah that are getting shade under the tree that you planted. If human beings, even other creatures of Allah like birds, if they have the opportunity of feeding on the fruits that shall be coming from that plant that you planted, then you have reward from that angle too. Not to talk of the sustainability of the earth itself by you planting. That is, you have been a supporter of everything good that Allah has created. Allahu Akbar. La tufsidu fil ardi. Inna Allaha la yuhibbul mufsidin. Do not spoil good things that Allah has made. You have contributed to the positivity of those things that Allah has created for every other human being. Mind you, the tree that you have planted, that have grown, that is giving shade, it will give shade not to Muslims alone. It gives shade to everybody. And by so doing, you are practicalizing what Islam has taught us. Now, the identity, like I said, the identity means who are you? What are your characteristics? Your behaviors, your feelings, your thinking that distinguish you from any other person. How do you relate with people? How do you think? How do you talk? Now, that one takes us to Quran chapter 23, from verse 1 to about verse 5, when Allah was saying, "Qad aflaha al-mu'minun, allazina hum fi salatihim khashi'un." Humility, you must be humble. Wallazina hum anil lagwi muridun, those who eschew falsehood and embrace what? Truth. That is, if they are looking for somebody to be made a counselor in a particular area, they must be looking for Muslims. Because what? They are trustworthy. That is what should be said about us. Some time ago, I was at a reception organized for Professor Oloyede and one other doctor, the head of Igbobi Orthopedic Hospital and the chief imam, the president imam of Lagos. They were, some Islamic groups organized a special reception, identifying with them. I was called upon to make a speech. I said, look, we should be shameful of ourselves. Is it Professor Oloyede? Will he be the first Muslim to be appointed to occupy a position of authority? So why is he being distinguished among several millions of Muslims that have been occupying positions right from our independence date? It means they have not been as transparent as this man. Now, the question is, how many of such man can we get amongst every one of us? Because what? He has decided to practice Islam. He has decided to showcase the beauty in Islam. I don't like people referring to some people as good Muslims. I don't like it. If they are good Muslims, that means there will be what? Word and what? Word and opposite. When we were in secondary school, word and opposite. What is the opposite of good? What is the opposite of bad? You Muhammad. So, if we have good Muslims, that means we should have bad ones. I was reading a book some time ago. I came across a statement from a philosopher, and I was ashamed of the kind of Muslims we have around the world. What did the philosopher say? He said, Islam is the best religion, but Muslims are the worst followers. Can you blame him? Let's be sincere to ourselves. Who are Boko Haram? Are they Christians? Damilon. What is the religion of the Boko Haram? Is it not Islam? What are they claiming? The flag that they use as their symbol, what is written on it? Damilon. Afikolo Nshanua. Ẹran ìbíyẹ òun ló kó wàhálà báyà ẹ bábíyẹ fún rẹ ẹran ìbíyẹ olódù kan ìbíyẹ fún rẹ olódù kan. By the time they want to abuse ìbíyẹ himself, systematically they will be abusing ẹran ìbíyẹ. But what is happening to this ẹran ìbíyẹ that is one eye? Meanwhile, ìbíyẹ fún rẹ olódù kan ni. Ọmọ kìnnì kan ló kókó báyẹ o. The Boko Haram, anytime they are making their video or whatever being sent on the social media, you see the flag written Allah, isn't it? They write Muhammad Rasulullah. The first time I was to come across those people, the video, I was in the US in an hotel where they showed the clip. The man was speaking good Arabic. Arabic tó ń sọ, èmi tí mo sá lè ké omi ò lè sọ. Jàmáà. Now, talking about the social aspect of Islam, relation, with others, including the environment itself. That is what takes me to politics. Quran chapter 28, verse 77. Allah says, "Wabutegi fima ataka Allahu daral akhirah, wala tansa nasibaka min ad-dunya, wa asin Kama ahsana Allahu ilayk wa la tabghi al-fasada fil ardi inna Allaha la yuhibbul mufsidin. Quran chapter 28 verse 77. When I went, I consulted my dictionary to look for the meaning of politics. Can you believe what I got? Politics is the activities involved in getting and using power in public life. Activities involved in getting and using power in the public life. Being able to influence decisions that affect a country or a society. Brothers and sisters, if those who are partaking in politics are to be Muslims that we are, who are set of upright people, who are set of truthful people, who are set of modest people, do we need to give them admonition to be upright? Damn alone. Do we need to admonish them not to be corrupt? Because they are clean before they... The reason why it has concerned me and you is because whoever occupies that position, they come together. If they are good people and they are as many as possible, that means they will give you good governance. If they are a set of bad people, you don't expect anything good from... My ustaz said during his discussion, he said, "Fakidu shay'in la yuti." You cannot give what you don't have. You are expecting people who do not have moral to give us moral. Is that possible? That is why they cannot change all those laws through which they are embezzling our money in the House of Rep, in the House of Assemblies, in the Senate, because they are the makers of those laws, and they are those who are perpetrating those things. So the laws that will continue to favor their, negativity is what they continue to propound. Brothers and sisters in Islam, if a system is bad, you cannot change that system being outside the system. You can only effect change if and only if you are within the system. Remember, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that man yara minkum munkaran falyughayyiru bi yadihi in lam yastati fabi lisanihi in lam yastati fabi qalbihi. Rasulullah told us that if you see anything that is wrong within your environment, first thing is for you to have the intention of correcting it. How do you correct it? You use your hand to correct it. If you are incapacitated using your hand, you use your tongue. Say it. This is not good. We don't want it. This is what we want. If you are still incapacitated doing that, then you resolve to what? Prayers. The moderator of the last program asked a question that you are only one among the wolves. Let me give you an instance. I'm sorry. I took my baby for the last GCE that was just concluded. When I got to the center, we were waiting for the organizers to come out and address them. I told my baby that, look, I won't come out from my car, because if I come out, I'm sure I will see somebody that will know me here. Now, she highlighted from the car. When they gave them the instruction and she was about to go to I got to see that she forgot something. I had to open my car and call on her. Before I called her, I saw somebody who actually knows me. He came to me. Salam alaikum. You may not know me. I am so. I got to know him from the description. He said he's a teacher in that school. Before I say talk, he took me to the VP. Yeah, this is our introduction. My daughter went in for the exam. You know what happened next? They called me that, Ustaz, do you need any help for your child? I said, no, I don't need any help. I said, as if I didn't know what was, no. I said, what kind of help? He said, he was trying to parabolate. He now came to me, look, Esa, if you can't beat them. I said, not in my own case. You know what my daughter told me? After about 3 times she went for the exam. She said, Daddy, who are those people? They are just harassing me. Then they will come to our desk. Hope you don't have a problem. He said she wasn't being disturbed. So my brother, what I'm trying to say is that even if you are the only one that is left out to do good, continue with it. Maybe that change we are all clamoring for will start from Subhana Rabbika Rabbil Izzat Amma Yasifun wa salamu ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.